Teddy, representing the class of 1970.
First of all, let me say, I'm not the musician that should be representing the class of 70 as far as the band. Time that I started in band my sophomore year, at that particular time, I couldn't sing, I couldn't dance, and I really didn't care anything about watermelon. But I did like fried chicken with Calabrese. But I can stand here and reiterate everything that everybody else has said. But I do want to reiterate one thing. Mr. Miller said that Mr. Calabrese did recognize that school was not for the teachers, not for the parents, not for anybody except the students. One thing that I haven't heard is the word diversity and diverse in any capacity tonight. And when you look at James Calabrese, at that time, he modeled diversity at a very trying time when diversity was not popular in the city of Statesville, due to the change in social climate all over the world. And that's the infection that he passed on to me. As an educator and a complete educator, I realized when I became an educator how much of an educator he really was at that point in time. And I want to thank him for saving me a couple times. One, the day, Alan, that he recruited me to pull that timpani drum out of Miss Davis's study hall, 6th period, because she was getting ready to write me up and send me to Mr. Hyatt. And that allowed me to escape right then. And I found out later that she tore a write-up up. So I didn't get written up because I was going to band. He recruited me to pull that timpani drum. So I fell in love with that timpani drum because it saved my behind. Two, once I was in there pulling the timpani drum, he was not satisfied with me just pulling that card. He started me on the double B flat horn and tutoring me the fingering and music. And I honestly learned a lot of music. And I learned to love diverse music and all music because he worked with me, and eventually I learned to play that tuba, that sousaphone, as Mike said. And it really surprised me, but it also, with that, it instilled in me that I could do anything if I persevered, and he would let you not persevere. There were times that I wanted to say, well, thank you for that year and that salvation, my sophomore year, and I'll go on. But the look in his eyes and his expression and his motivation would not, and his encouragement would not let me do that. So I personally want to thank you for that. And I speak for all of you that have been motivated by James Calabrese, but I have to personally thank you for that and your continued support even when I was a teacher and an administrator in the school system. Thank you very much.
That did remind me of another funny story that has nothing to do with Jim Calabrese, but the story was told that Ronnie Milam and Lynn Davenport came to school one day early. They were in the class of 67. And apparently got some white enamel paint. Kenny, you would be able to tell me what kind of paint it would be, but it was the kind of paint that, things would adhere to it if they hit it. So they came in very early one morning and they painted the toilet seats in each of the women's bathrooms with this paint. And as the story goes, fortunately or unfortunately, the first person to use the toilet that particular day was Miss Josie White. And as Alan said, I hope the statute of limitations has run on this. Because according to Milan and Davenport, Mr. Hyde really, maybe it was Jimmy Farr instead of Davenport. I believe it was Jimmy Farr. Mr. Hyde may not have ever really uncovered who the culprits were, but the story goes that Mrs. White had to remove her bloomers and was, distraught for the rest of the day.